How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Cashflow Empire podcast, where every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, we like to bring a lot of, friends, family, and partners that, essentially we do business with. And our goal here every Tuesday night is to educate and to bring a lot of value to every single one of you, and to just get inspired every Tuesday. And one of my favorite things to say is that we start off this week, and sometimes our Mondays can be a little rough, but every time we have this Tuesday night meeting, we get that fire to just keep going and to finish up our week strong, just because we have such an amazing community, right? And amazing speakers like Dagan tonight. So that being said, Mr. Dagan, welcome to our Tuesday night call, man. We really appreciate you coming. How you feeling tonight, man? How you feeling? How's everything going?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
Awesome. Now, from everybody that doesn't know, man, we'd love to know who you are. Who is Dagan Martinez-Vargas, where you're from, and just give us a little bit of background on what is it that you do.
Sweet. Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Austin, Texas. I'm quite a unicorn because most of us, we leave once we get older. And most people, so many people move here. There's almost no one left here that's from Austin. But been in networking for about 20 years, which is starting to show my age there. I used to work in the alcohol industry, working for Dos Equis, Corona, Coors Light, Jack Daniels, Woodford Reserve, Southern Comfort, quite a number of other brands. And I worked directly for those. For some of them, I worked directly for the company. So I didn't work just at the distributor level, but worked at the bigger global brands. And if you know anything about marketing and whatnot, is they're the best. If it's not a Bacardi commercial or Budweiser commercial, now Corona, Dos Equis, I may not always drink a beer, but all those types of commercials are the best of the best. And we were taught by the best of the best on how to brand our brands and how to push them out. And so what I started doing was flipping it and trying to show how to promote ourselves. And so I did that for quite a bit of time, for over a decade, working in the business, calling on every bar, club, restaurant, hotel in the greater Austin area. And then moved into the tech world, where I helped present an app on stage, on the same stage that Twitter and a lot of the apps that are on y'all's phones right now, they presented on those same stages when they were brand new and trying to get investors. And I was helping a company get some investor money. And I was able to get us where no one knew anything about us. And in a short 2-year period, pretty much everyone that was needed to be known knew about us, which was great. We even got to the final round of Shark Tank, where the top 100 out of several thousands that applied, we were the ones that the top 100, and basically where the next call is pack your bags and fly. And the reason we didn't make it to the top 30 where they call you and bring you in is because we had just launched. So we were just so brand new that they weren't really trying to put new companies on there that were brand new. And then I basically got into the insurance world because I was wanting to do something that I could retire on and have normal type hours, which, as y'all all know, that's a little hard to do when you're in certain occupations, and real estate is one of them. And I decided that I would use all that same networking and marketing for my own brand. So I do catastrophic stuff. So I do cancer, heart accident policies, think something like Aflac, but I don't work directly for Aflac. I'm an independent broker. So I call on everyone and do life insurance, disability, all kinds of stuff. And because I'm independent and I know how to do the hard stuff, a lot of other agents from everywhere tend to send their hard cases to me, because I was a biology major. I know a lot about the different drugs that people are trying to get approved for to get life insurance. And so I know how to navigate that world. One funny thing is I was interning in my younger years at a hospital pharmacy. At the same time, I was working in the alcohol industry, representing alcohol, and they would joke. They were like, Dagan's the only one in the whole city that actually can sell drugs and alcohol, and no one can do anything about it, including the law. And so I was technically legally selling both. So I always liked that reference. But my whole thing is about promoting yourself, making your own brand. So I've helped so many people on how to pitch and brand themselves that people kept telling me post-COVID, they were like, Dagan, you need to write a book. So after being pushed enough times, I decided to write a book. And so I wrote a book. It's called Play the Room. It's on Amazon. We launched in August. It hit Amazon bestseller for a whole week. So that's pretty cool. And sold quite a number of copies. We're not going to get up there with Matthew McConaughey and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who also wrote books, but hey, I'm doing my thing. So that's great. The cool thing about it is, and I'll put my info, sorry, here, let me see, I'll put my info in the chat. Basically, when networking, it's about promoting yourself and not necessarily promoting what you do. So as an example, I'll go into this, and if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. And I love cameras on, so anyone who could turn on their cameras, please do. But basically, so for example, for me, I sell policies that help you with cancer, heart, accident stuff. So because I want to make more of an impact, I'm going to sit here and wear a shirt covered in hearts, which might be kind of like, that's kind of corny, but kind of cool, kind of weird. But I guarantee you, when I've done this in the past, over a year ago when I did this for some presentations during February, which is basically our heart month, people 6 months later, when I'd run into them, not wearing the shirt, would say, hey, I remember you were wearing, don't you do insurance? Because you had some shirts with hearts all over it. I said, yes, and that's how you be memorable. Some people will say certain things are cheesy. It's only cheesy if your mindset is telling you it's cheesy. If you believe in it, it's not cheesy. So that's one of the things I always love to say is what are you doing to promote yourself? So for an example, if you see my information about myself, my title is I'm a crap hits the fan consultant. Nowhere in there does that say insurance. Nowhere in there does it say catastrophic or supplemental. The reason why is when I'm at an event or I show up or I'm trying to introduce myself, if I go up to Yoshi and say, hey, and she's like, what do you do for a living? Or what brings you here? Oh, I'm an insurance guy. Yoshi's going to be like, okay, what kind of insurance? She's not going to know what to do or say with that. I mean, it's not exciting. There's nothing interesting about that. So I say, I'm a crap hits the fan consultant. She's generally going to be like, wait, what? What does that mean? And I don't care if if I'm being introduced to her, Jennifer Lopez, or the Pope. I'm always saying the exact same thing. I'm saying, well, what I do is I help small businesses prevent them from going through bankruptcy due to medical catastrophes. Now, the reason I say that is because if you're at a networking event, generally, most people in there are business owners or people that work for the business owners. And so they sit there and go, wait, I'm a business owner. And then I make sure I say 2 trigger words. Bankruptcy. Who in this room, raise your hand, would love to experience bankruptcy? Raise your hand, please. No one. Okay, cool. Due to medical catastrophes. Who in this room doesn't know someone close to them that's had a medical catastrophe? Raise your hand if you don't know anyone. Okay. Does anyone want to have any medical catastrophes? Raise your hand. No. Okay. So by saying that, I say I help small business owners. Now, if I came to one of y'all's events, I would say I would change it up a little bit, but I would know this before I go into the event. And I would say, well, I help commercial investors from going bankrupt due to medical catastrophes. Now that's automatically going to say, wait, I'm a commercial investor and I don't want to go through bankruptcy. And I definitely no medical catastrophes can happen. How do you do that? And then now we're going back and forth and communicating with what we do. And so knowing what you're going to say, and there's a good number of y'all that, I mean, I don't know, I see a lot of Hispanics in here, so I don't know how many are introverts, but but generally introverts, they're not comfortable with networking or promoting themselves. So the way you fix that is you prepare in advance. So I know if I'm coming into a Zoom room, a networking meeting, a gala, a golf tournament, doesn't matter. I know exactly what I am. I'm a crap hits the fan consultant. What do? I help small business owners from going bankrupt due to medical catastrophes. How do you do that? Blah, blah, blah. This is how I do that. And then if I'm in a room with more than 30, 40, 50 people, I try to do something to stand out. I don't go around wearing this all the time. I usually do this for Zoom rooms, but I'll wear something that stands out a little more, something a little brighter, something, Lewis is a perfect example. He's wearing the 10X hat. Nobody knows what the hell that is most of the time. They're going to come up to him and say, what's this 10X? And guess what he's going to say? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you all about it. And then he's going to start talking all about Grant Cardone. So that's great stuff. And that's what you want to do with that. Now, the more you plan in advance, the better. Now, if y'all then say, hey, Dagan, stand up for 20 seconds and tell us about yourself. Every time you have someone in the commercial real estate, and I've been to a commercial investor meeting where everyone in the room is pretty much commercial investors. And what happens? A lot of y'all all start saying all these, yeah, I do a bunch of multifamily and I do this and I do that. And, with no money down, y'all start talking, thinking everyone else in the room knows what the hell you're saying. And most of it goes right over people's heads. And I've been to these meetings and I asked the other people, did you catch all that? And most of the time they all say, yeah, not all of it. And that's not a good way to promote your message. You want to keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, like the phrase you probably have heard numerous times in the past. Whenever you're speaking to someone, you want to speak like it's like you're speaking to a room of teenagers. Okay, not your teenagers, not your kids, because the way y'all speak to your kids is no, we don't want to do that. We want to talk to them as if they're a room full of teenagers. Because the number one thing we have to do is, if you tell me who you're looking for, let's say, I've got to put my glasses on these names here. We got Willie in the room. So I'm going to call on people who's at least got their videos on. If Willie sit here and starts telling me what he does and how I can help him, how I can bring him referrals, if he doesn't keep the message simple, a few things will happen. One is, if we're in a room with more than 5 people, my brain has to hold on to the information Willie gives me, and then the information that Tony gives me, and then the information Luis gives me about Cardone. And then all of a sudden, after about the 4th or 5th person, the brain can't hold on to all that. And we'll say, hey, throw some of this out. And it will start throwing out some of the stuff I just heard. And as it goes around, it's going to try to remember everything else that everyone else said. And it's only going to remember the very key stuff. And guess what that is? It's the easiest things to remember, or the things that I bonded with the most. And so that's not a great thing if you're spending all this time talking about important things and then half the room's not getting it. So one of the things to do is to make sure that you're explaining it in layman's terms. Because not only do I got to remember it, the next day or the next week or the next month, when I come across that person to introduce you to, I'm like, I know this Lewis dude, and he likes moving money and helping people invest in this stuff. I know he likes Grant Cardone. I don't even know who that is, really, kind of, and so you have that issue. People need to be able to explain your message the next day or the next week. Now, all of you, if you just had heard my message, you're like, Dagan does insurance. Oh, what kind of insurance? Man, I don't know, but I know it's like when he said something like crap hits the fan insurance. He helps people prevent bankruptcies and helps them through medical catastrophes. Because I gave you those 2 trigger words. It can be a positive trigger word or a negative trigger word, but what it is. I can't come in and be a Debbie Downer and say, hey guys, y'all are all gonna die. You're dying right now. Every day you're alive. You should get life insurance. You've probably been told this forever. Why are you buying properties without life insurance? Y'all are all dumb. You know, I could be that person, but that's not going to get anything done. And because my topic isn't the most enthusiastic, I try to deliver it with some more gumption and some more fun. In fact, when I first get introduced to people and they're telling me to stand up and talk for 20 seconds, I'll say something like this just to start with. I'll go, so Yoshi told me I was going to have to do this in rhyme. So here I go. I sell policies for cancer, accident, and heart attack. Why? Because they cause your bills to stack and stack. Do you have a good plan for when crap hits the fan? If not, I'm Dagan and I'm your man. And that's only the first part. I go on for 20, 30 seconds and do an entire, I call it a Dr. Seuss rhyme. Everyone else calls it a rap. But I'm able to do that. And of course, at the end of that, I'm not sitting here talking about all these facts and figures and things about insurance. I'm talking about relevant, catchy, something catchy that makes them grab their attention and say, wow, I don't even know what Dagan really does, but I need insurance. I want to do it with him. So when you're putting your message out there, what is it that you're doing? I don't expect y'all all to go home and write a rhyme. That's okay. You don't have to, or, you know, start singing and doing a song. But what are you doing and what are you saying that is simple, easy to digest, and to get them to come talk to you? One fun fact is it's okay to be vague. Vague is all right. Everyone wants to spit everything out and do all this talking on what they want the message to be. But that's okay. You don't have to. You can sit there and be somewhat vague because you want people to come talk to you later. So that's just some of the different things that one can do. And you do that so that you get your message out there and they know what part you do and what you're trying to convey. Is there any questions at the moment? For some reason, my light just went out.
Yeah, no, Dagan. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I noticed that I would say maybe after COVID, where everybody becomes more like virtual, so they kind of open their minds. I was one of them, and then I realized that actually branding is just not for products, right? So we start kind of like, oh my gosh, we need to do this ourselves because this is key in order to grow our business, right? Because now people are investing in people more than sometimes in products, right? So for somebody that maybe is thinking that they are late, right? Because they see a lot of people already have a big brands and they think that they are late. And I don't think that there is this is real, this is right? So what is your advice for somebody that would like to start building their brand?
Yeah, definitely try to find out what's niche or what's interesting about you. There's generally something you're doing that everyone else is not doing. So look for that. And sometimes it might be who you, what demographic you are. Are you female? And most of the people in your demographic that do what you do are male. Are they generally older and you're younger, or vice versa? You know, are you bilingual? Focus on those things. So some examples, there's a realtor who liked barbecue a lot. And if you think about it, when people are buying a home, they're thinking about what's it going to be like on my patio with my barbecue pit. And so I pushed him to everything he talks about needs to lean more toward something about barbecue and being in the backyard and doing outdoor things. He doesn't need to promote being a realtor. Everyone knows what the heck a realtor is. So it was like, hey, promote that, because you will then get more thought of when people are sitting there, hey, I need to buy a house, or I need to sell this house, or I want a bigger backyard. And then he took it a step further, and I had told him to brand it as much as possible, and he became the barbecue realtor. And that's his shtick. And it helps him have things to talk about and things to talk about with other people that isn't about selling, because that's one of the hardest things, is trying not to sell to everyone you're talking to. So brand wise, you can always create your brand. It is best to try to find something unique about it. And usually if there's nothing unique about it, then why are you doing it?
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs on this call, a lot of people. And for those of y'all that are like kind of wondering, what y'all can get from this, like use this advice to really implement this to your business, right? Branding yourself. And because not only do we have entrepreneurs, we also have capital raisers, we have syndicators. So we have a lot of individuals that got to essentially sell themselves, because at the end of the day, the investor invests into you. First, they invest into you, and then obviously the numbers come in hand. And does it financially make sense for me? Do I like the deal? Does it make, So I love this information. My next question is, and it's going to be interesting. How long do I got when I'm talking to somebody before I lose them? I know there's a time frame on where I need to speak about my elevator pitch, on what is it that I do before I lose them. What's that time frame, if there is one?
I mean, about 7 seconds to 20 seconds. They're going to start already figuring stuff out at 7, and then anything over 20, you're almost too much information. You can go 45 minutes or a minute. The problem is, what happens is people will start marketing themselves first, and then if you give them any more than 20 seconds, they start repeating themselves, start using a lot of filler words like like, as, and they will also go into sales mode. You don't want to go into sales mode, or your full pitch. So your elevator pitch, if someone tells you what's your pitch, well, here, I'll start over. There's multiple pitches. There's your marketing pitch and there's your sales pitch. Like right now, if I was to do a presentation with a bunch of slides, I really should only have pictures, because we're in a Zoom room. Shouldn't be facts and figures and graphs and all that. It shouldn't be. It's how do I get you to know, like, and trust me? And that's going to be mostly through pictures. Let me do the talking. If I have a bunch of words and I have a bunch of stuff on there, the human mind cannot look at all that and listen to me at the same time. It's impossible. It's impossible. And so you need to do one or the other. And I usually will tell people, they're like, yeah, but I need to show. I was like, no, you don't. When you sit down with someone afterward is when you go over all the specifics. Because here's a perfect example. Steve Jobs, when he got on stage, for those who can remember, when he launched the smartphone, he got on stage in front of a live TV audience and in front of a whole auditorium of people. And all he had was he did the whole thing with 3 or 4 pictures. He did the whole thing talking with his black turtleneck sweater. This is a man who was able to tell a message of educating people on a new technology device called a smartphone. If you remember, we were all on flip phones, and he was talking about a smartphone. If he can do that in a universal way across the entire globe, you guys can do that in a much simpler way. So keeping in mind that your marketing pitch is not the same as your sales pitch. Write down what you're going to say, or look at your presentation and look at it, the whole thing, and what lines sound like you're selling. If you're selling, now if you're in a room where you're supposed to sell, then great. But if you're in a room full of other people, like in this room, where you're trying to get referral partners, you need not be selling, you need to be marketing. Marketing will bring the referrals that brings the sales.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Why don't we do a quick little test run real quick? Why don't you show us how it's done? Assuming we're at a networking event and I run into you, and let's go real quick. I run into you and I say, hey, what's up? What's your name?
Yeah. Wait, are we practicing that you're going to do it or I'm going to do it?
You. I want to see the professional do it.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
cool. So we're at a networking event. You know, the music's popping. There's probably a beer or two. Everybody's having some fun, and I guess I run into you with the shirt with the hearts.
Yeah.
And I go up to you because I'm just that curious, and I'm gonna approach you and I'm be like, hey man, what's up? I really like your shirt. What's your name?
Hey, man. Cool. Thanks, man. My name's Dagan. What brings you here?
Oh, you know, I'm just out here just trying to network. You know, meet new people and just really get to know a lot more people. You know, just see what I can, what value I can bring.
Yeah.
What about you?
For what? For what are you trying to network for? For your own business or what?
Correct. So I do some real estate. We do some syndications. What we love to do is we love to buy multifamily assets, and we like to essentially make them better for our communities and just give people affordable housing at the end of the day.
Nice. Cool. I love
What
that.
do you do, man?
Man, I basically help real estate and business professionals from going bankrupt due to medical catastrophes and have to sell off some of those assets that's making them money.
Oh shit! So tell me more. How does that happen?
Yeah, so basically with anyone that's owning a small business, the number one reason they will go bankrupt is due to medical catastrophes, cancer, heart accidents, stuff like that. And that's the number one reason someone has to let go of an asset like a house or a business. And so I basically help protect that with catastrophic insurance. So they don't have to sell those assets off. They can use that money to basically fund all their expenses and then keep those assets.
Oh shoot! So you mean that can happen to me?
Yeah, I mean, statistically, it's going to happen to quite a few of the people here in this room that we're in right now. So, you say you buy a multifamily home. If your loved one gets hit with cancer, would you rather get a $30,000 check from me to help cover all your expenses on the side? Now, I'm not talking about the hospital. You got health insurance for that, but all the deductibles, the co-pays, your mortgage, your cell phone payments, your kids' activities, doggy care for your dog, all the things that you spend money on every month. I'll give you $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, or you can sell off one of your assets so that you can free up some cash flow. Which would you rather do?
You both.
I didn't hear it.
Huh? Say that again.
What'd you say? I didn't hear it.
No, I was laughing. I was laughing.
Oh.
It was just
No, I'm asking you, which would you rather do? Would you rather get a $50,000 check from me, or would you rather sell one of your multifamily places off to bring in the cash flow? Because right now, one of your units is vacant and you're having problems filling it, but you're also dealing with cancer in the household.
well, probably take that 50K, right? Yoshi said take the 50K. Louis said take the 50K, so I'm gonna go with 50K.
Yeah. So that's what I do, and I help small business owners do that. And then I'll stop it there and go try to go right back into you. But when I first met you, I want to hear what you do. So I'm going to do whatever I can to ask you why are you here? And of course, when you said you network, that's when I say, well, but what are you networking here? And so once I find your business, I then tweak it to what I'm talking about and why it works for you.
Nice. Okay. That was pretty good.
And then even then, if we're at a normal event, if here and we'll play this game. I'll critique you a little bit.
Oh,
you mentioned you started going right into words like syndication.
Correct.
How many people know what that means? Like,
not a lot.
I'm thinking, crimes and drug syndicate right away, because I've seen enough of those type of movies, but and you said multifamily homes and then started going into some of the other stuff you were saying. So right now, the first thing, now, of course, I know what you do already, but if I was pretending I was, kind of in that realm, I'm going to know he does something with syndication. He does something with multifamily homes, and he does something to help make affordable housing in the community. So wow, he does affordable housing in the community. So now I'm going to introduce him to some nonprofits I know and some other people. And that might not be the people you're wanting to meet.
Correct.
And so while you did fine there, it's about writing it down, honing it, making it easier for me to repeat. Because of course you stated we're in a club or at bar. So throw in that it's also loud now, and we're talking and we're having drinks, a drink or two, and you're going to want me to remember that in the morning. And is that giving me a card? And this is what drives me nuts, because the mortgage industry people love this. Everyone loves doing digital cards. Digital cards, you might want to fight me on this. They get lost. They get lost in my phone. They get lost in everyone's phone. And they're like, yeah, well, I'll send you my digital card, and then you send me a text, and then I'll send you an email. We're playing Tetris here. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I give you a business card with my picture on it so that you remember who you met in this room, and you can have that later. If you want to exchange digital too, great. But if you're only targeting people with digital cards or that are doing that, you got to think, if you give me a digital card and I'm like, you know what? I have one of my clients, he wants somewhere to put money, and I'm going to give that to, I need someone in the commercial space because he wants to do some investing. He's got 50 to 100 grand to invest, but he's an older fella. He's kind of old school, and I'm going to consciously or subconsciously do this. I like Sergio, but he was all pushing his digital card, and he's all like this, so tech friendly and everything. But Yoshi was really just like everyday, cool, normal, and gave me an actual card. I actually have it. It's in my wallet. I'll let him decide. I'll talk about both of them. And I don't even know you, but I'm already going to start trying to push you away, Sergio, possibly because my client is not tech friendly. And so I'm like, you know what? If he's pushing his digital on me, he's going to push stuff on her. And I want him or her to feel more at ease. And technology is not their thing. So I'm going to introduce them to Yoshi. And now Yoshi just gets a $100,000 investor. And Sergio doesn't, because Sergio, all he was doing was pushing his digital card on me, and I didn't like it. I only give people, I love digital cards. I use them, but I only give it if someone asks me for a digital card, or I give them the option. I go, I got a digital card. Would you like that or a regular card? Remember, you want to spread your brand and get to be known by as many people. If you're doing something, and this is where it trips people out, if you're doing something that makes your job easier, that's fine. But if it makes your job easier and makes the other person that you are trying to develop a relationship with, either as a client or a partner, if it's not making their life easier, you're messing up. It doesn't make any sense. I do whatever I can to make you guys easier. I would love to speak in person, but if y'all are doing Zoom, hey, great, we'll do Zoom. If y'all are like, hey, Dagan, it's at 7 in the morning. Okay, sounds good. I'll be there at 7 a.m. No, never mind. We forgot it's it's p.m. Dagan, 7 p.m. I'm like, oh, damn. Okay, I'll do 7 p.m. Whatever I need to do for the client, potential client, or potential referral partner. Now, of course, that's in a network setting. I'm not saying, your clients are calling you at 8 o'clock at night and you're being with the family. I get you got to have boundaries. But when you're trying to win a relationship, you can't do what's easiest for you. And every time I ask someone who only does digital cards, or I'm trying to think of what else, they do these certain things that they only do that. I'm like, yeah. When I ask, why do you only do digital? They always say, well, because it's easier for me. And I'm like, well, I don't want to send you my client because it's not about what's easy for you. It's what's easy for my client. So I'm going to take my client to someone else. So you want to keep that in, and people do that. If they don't do it consciously, they'll do it subconsciously. And so you don't know what's going to happen. They sometimes don't even know, but that happens. I've seen it plenty of times. Any other questions?
That was great. That was great because that made me feel that I'm not the only crazy one that It's not giving digital cards and everything, because that's how I feel myself. Even sometimes if I take a digital card from somebody and then I going to try to text this person, it's really hard for me even to find the name and the number, right? Because you save a lot of contacts, right? So I'm glad that you're sharing that, because even sometimes myself, and this is how I'm feeling sometimes, when I go to an event and I take a lot of business cards, I just put them on the side, right? It's like, and then I will probably text these people later, and then I just put it with my other business cards, and then I have 100 business cards, and then I don't call anybody, right? So what I usually do is just I like to take a picture, with people, and then just send them my name, and then but that's usually what I do. So I'm not crazy. That's great. Thank you, Dagan, for
And that's
sharing that.
that's fantastic to do, to make it very personable.
Exactly, but
Is that they're
I
like,
know
hey,
that.
I remember taking a picture with that guy. That's very personable and very
Yeah, and I like to do like a quick joke always, right? I like to say like, hey, so this is me and you, and sending you our picture, because next time if I text you, you will remember the crazy Colombian guy that was taking a picture with you, right? So I'm leaving them kind of like a good connection in that point. So that was
It's
great, man.
and it's about being memorable, and that can almost come across as cheesy, but it's not, because you're very intentional and you have a belief in it. And when you do that, it's not cheesy. If you think it's cheesy, it's just in your mindset that says it's cheesy. And by the way, cheese sells. It's been working for hundreds of years. Turn on the commercials on TV. It's a lot of cheese, a lot of cheese.
I love it. I love it. We're coming out at the 45-minute mark, and then after that, we're gonna do the quick breakout rooms. But really quick, man. We've talked about some really good stuff about branding yourself. We've talked about not to be too salesy, to really just kind of sell yourself, dumb it down, use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. When you're explaining what is it that you're doing, maybe using some keywords so they can remember who you are, so that they won't forget about you. We also talked about the 7 to 20-second elevator pitch before they forget about the conversation, or you lose them. Either you win them or you lose them. So really quick, now that we've learned some great stuff tonight, what are the top three things that maybe somebody that's in this room right now needs to go do after this call to begin to start to brand themselves, to get started?
Get all your stuff set up beforehand. So for example, I'll just use this. And again, there's no judgment. I always tell everyone, if I call something out on you, it's you know what you know. I follow the Toastmaster philosophy, where I'm telling you on how to take it a bigger step. So in this case, and again, if you're just here to learn, you can, have you do whatever you want in the Zoom room. But just as an example, in the Zoom room, all you guys on your cell phones, you should be horizontal, because I can barely see you on this. I don't know how y'all are seeing everything. You're going to see much better tilted. You're also, if your backgrounds kind of go in and out, and when you're moving around, change it, or dress something up, like your background. Make an actual background at your home, or put your computer set up. My desk is in the middle of my office, which is not conducive to my office, but it gives you the background, as opposed to my desk being in the corner, which makes more sense, but does not work well for Zoom. Also, if we're here to network, you're crazy if you have your camera off. Whatever reason it is, I don't have makeup, I'm not ready, I get bad signal. Well, then why are you there at your house or wherever you get bad signal? You should be somewhere where you're getting a strong signal. We're here to build relationships. I cannot build a relationship with someone I can't even see. So it just doesn't even make sense to me on that. You want to be visually there. If I don't have great connection, guess what? I'm going down to a coffee house, and I'm going to drive 5 minutes down the road, go to a coffee house, and do it from there. And you know what? It's uncomfortable. But remember what I said about being uncomfortable. That makes it comfortable for everybody else. That's what makes money. There's no rich person that you can name me that said, oh, I made money and I did it comfortably. They all talk about how uncomfortable it is. So get your business cards ready. Make sure your face is on there. It's easy to read. Your name tag is easy to read. people, especially in mortgage industry, they try to use a black background and this gold penmanship on there. It's stupid. No one can read it. Sorry if there's someone in that has it. You know, y'all's logos right now, the IC, what is it, ICE or ICF? Yeah, those are cool. But if you have that on the name tag, I can't read it. I can't tell what that is. You know, if you have it on a business card, you know, keep that in mind. If the logo needs to be bigger, slap it on the back. Put pictures of you. I'm buying from you. I'm not buying from the company. And most likely everyone in this room is going to move to another company down the road. So if you're in if you work for one title company, you're going to work for a different one 2 years from now. That's statistically going to happen. So why do you keep promoting Fairway Title or mortgage? Don't promote that. You're there to promote you. I'm buying from you. I'm not buying from that title company. And so use that. And so when you change to another company, it's not that big of a deal. Or when you do a pivot, or when you add services, it's like, oh yeah, there's Dagan with Aflac. No, I'm not with Aflac. I'm not with anyone. I'm me. But yes, I can write for Aflac, but I can write for Cigna, I can write for Aetna, I can write for everybody. Now, if it is a national brand or a global brand, sure, it's good to promote Aflac every now and then as an example, because it's a great name recognition. But I don't want it to be my standalone, because I'm not here to promote a duck. I'm here to promote me. So get all your stuff together and make sure you have the same message across everything. So that would sum up, sorry, Sergio, shortly what I'm saying, because I see when someone comes to me, their messaging is all over the place. Their business cards aren't right. Their digital card's way different from their regular card. They're not using the same picture across everything. Their social media is not all lined up. They all don't say the same thing. Your LinkedIn should be set up. If you're not using LinkedIn, you're crazy. It's the #1 business networking thing in the country. But my message, if you go to LinkedIn, is the same you're going to see on Facebook, is the same you see on Snapchat, the same you're going to see on TikTok, pretty much across everything. So get all that together, because if I can't find you on LinkedIn, I'm not doing business with you. I'm going to assume you're shady, especially if it involves big sums of money. I'm not doing anything with you. And it's shocking how many people have outdated LinkedIns. Crazy.
I love it. I love it, man. You got onto us. and I'm gonna tighten up, man. I'm gonna tighten up a little more. I learned a lot. I usually just lock in, but I was honestly tonight taking some notes. So I love it tonight. Today was just an amazing call. Guys, go ahead and let's show Dagan some love. And if you enjoyed it, please put some fire in the chats right now. Y'all know how we do it. We love to show, a lot of appreciation to our speakers. And just because obviously they take this hour out of their time to come talk to us. But before we go out, into the breakout rooms, we just want to go ahead and conclude this call really quick. And if you enjoyed it tonight, guys, don't forget that we do have this call recorded on Spotify. We will have it on YouTube. And so all good. You can always go look at it later, send it to a friend, send it to a family member. If you need to go watch it again, it will be on all the platforms. So that being said,
one other thing, Sergio, just the book is Play the Room. If you want to buy it, it's $15 on Amazon. It's not expensive. It sums up all 20 years of my networking into an hour and a half. Helen's got it. Well, you can't see it.
Let's put
she has a background.
Yoshi, can you put the link to the book in the chat, please?
Yeah, and I did that too. It's playtheroombook.com. That takes you directly to the website, and you can click on the Amazon link. It's also at other places, but anyone that's read it has told me, oh my God, I wish I had this a year or 2 years ago. I've been networking at only 50%. This gets you to 100. I really wish I could sell the book for $95 because it's worth way more than that. But no one's going to buy that.
I love it. I appreciate it. And we should all buy it just because we are always networking. We are always trying to help, investors get into the right investment. And I'm excited. I'm going to buy it myself and I'm going to read it. And Dagan, when I go to Austin, I'm gonna need you to sign me a copy, please. And I got you on dinner.
I like that. Yeah, Helen.
Awesome.
See, Helen's showing. She made me sign
I'm jealous.
hers. Look at that.
I'm jealous. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. We're gonna jump into the breakout rooms really, really quick.